Welcome to Let's Make Dinner, your audio library of amazing dinner recipes you can get on the table any night of the week. I'm your host, Susie Weinrich. Welcome everybody to another episode of Let's Make Dinner. We are getting near the end of the school year and we're sliding right into summer. So I am looking for all of those easy recipes that I know that my whole family will eat. And the recipe that I'm making tonight is one that I know the whole family will eat. We're talking about garlic butter steak bites. They're super garlicky and buttery and delicious, and they're budget conscious. It'll be like you're having filet mignon on a sirloin budget. One of the nice things about this recipe is it's considered a skillet recipe. So you've got one pan that you're going to cook all of these steak bites in. And then if you want to worry about some side dishes, we can talk about those at the end. It's also a dinner that you will have ready and on the table in under 30 minutes. A few ingredients you want to make sure you have are olive oil, kosher salt, black pepper, butter, plenty of fresh garlic, fresh rosemary, which actually, if rosemary is not your favorite flavor, you could certainly sub out fresh thyme in its place. And then lastly, your Worcestershire sauce and a top sirloin steak. Now, top sirloin is a very lean cut of beef that has a really nice beefy flavor. The only thing is that since it's more of a lean cut of beef, you do not want to cook this to well done. We're talking like medium rare to medium at the most. If that's not your jam, if you're like, I better not see any pink on the inside of my beef, then you need to skip this recipe and move on to something else. This top sirloin, when you cook it to a medium rare or medium, it's going to eat more like a filet than like a sirloin. If you have followed me in the past, then you know that I love Aldi. I'm not being paid to talk about Aldi. I just love to go to Aldi. I feel like I can save quite a bit of money there. And they actually have really, really nice sirloin steaks. They are nice and large. You can get them like 2.5 pounds. And they're not full of like gristle. They just have some nice beef fat on them. They are perfect for this recipe. Let's get into making this recipe. You're going to start by cutting your steak into about 1 inch, 1.5 inch sized pieces. Now, if you do have any gristle or large pieces of fat left on your steak, then go ahead and cut that away and discard. Season all of the steak pieces with some kosher salt and black pepper. If you have a cast iron or nonstick skillet, that's what you're going to want to use. Place it over medium-high heat and add 1 to 2 tablespoons of either olive oil or vegetable oil. Both of those have a high enough smoking point to get a nice sear on your steak pieces. Another tip for this recipe is that you're going to want to cook your steak in batches. When you crowd a skillet or a pan or a sheet pan, you actually will start to steam whatever it is that you're cooking instead of sauteing or browning. So with this recipe, you're probably going to want to cook your steak in 3, maybe 4 batches, but it still goes really quickly. Once that oil is nice and hot in the pan, you'll lay your first batch of steak bites into the oil and let it cook for about 1 minute. Then you can flip it, cook it for an additional minute, and then finish for about 30 seconds, and you can either stir it around the pan or brown another side. But about 2.5 minutes is all you need to cook these steak bites to about a medium rare. Then you'll just go ahead and take that batch out of the pan, set it aside on just a plate or whatever you have to the side. And then if you need to add more oil to the pan, go ahead and do that and continue with that process, cooking all of the rest of the steak bites. After you have cooked all of the steak bites, go ahead and turn that heat down to about a medium low. You're going to add the butter with the chopped garlic and rosemary and saute that around the pan for just a couple minutes. Then you're going to take the steak pieces and any juices that collected on the plate and add it back into the pan, stir it around, finish with 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and stir it again, and it's time to eat. That's it. When I serve these steak bites, I like to keep it pretty classic with a starch and a vegetable. Now you've got that skillet that you just cooked all of those steak bites in. What I like to do is add a little bit more oil and some fresh green beans, saute those, add a little garlic at the end and some kosher salt, serve those on the side. And I actually have a recipe on momsdinner.net for skillet garlic green beans that I will link in the show notes for you. The next recipe that I recommend as a side dish is next level, people. Next level. It is from my friend Lori over at the food blog Josie and Nina, and they are crispy oven potatoes. So you're just taking like new potatoes or red potatoes and you're slicing them in half. You put them on a sheet pan with, it's almost a whole stick of butter. So obviously they're going to be really good. If you're on any kind of diet, that might not be the recipe for you, but I'm telling you, it is worth it for these potatoes. You pop them in the oven. They come out tender and buttery on the inside, but the outside has this crispiness that is just, it'll blow your mind. It'll be one of your new favorite side dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and link those in the show notes as well. Besides those two recipes, I will also link the full printable recipe for the garlic butter steak bites. The recipe will serve 4 to 5 people. And that does it for today. If you're enjoying these episodes of Let's Make Dinner, I would love it if you would subscribe or follow in your preferred podcast player. That way, all of our future episodes will be easy to find right in your podcast feed. Until next time, I hope this episode of Let's Make Dinner makes your dinner time a little easier. However, I wish I was being paid by Aldi, so if you got the hookup, send them my way.